Alright, everyone, and welcome. Today we are going to crack the code on the CUET Computer Science paper. So forget about all that endless cramming. We're diving straight into a clear, priority based 8-week action plan that's designed to get you the absolute best score possible. If you're ready to switch up your study habits and really conquer this exam, well, let's get right into it. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with a really crucial mindset shift you need for this exam. Then we'll dive deep into the high priority topics, your core foundation. After that, we'll look at how to lock in those extra marks with medium and low priority topics. Next, we'll pull it all together into a solid 8-week plan, show you how to supercharge your prep, and then point you towards some more guides for your other subjects. Okay, first things first, we have to talk about the whole philosophy behind this exam. Success in computer science isn't just about what you can memorize, it's actually about a fundamental shift in how you think about and approach the subject itself. So let's ask the most important question right off the bat. What is this exam really testing? Because trust me, if your whole strategy is built on just memorizing definitions from a textbook, you might be in for a big surprise. And this slide, it just illustrates the point perfectly. The exam is not going to ask you to define Cartesian product. No way. Instead, it's going to show you something like cos times student and expect you to know that's a Cartesian product. See the difference? It's testing if you can recognize and apply concepts out in the wild. So the single most crucial point is this QT test application, not definitions. Think about it like this. It's one thing to know the rules of grammar, but it's another thing entirely to actually write a good sentence. CUET wants to see you write the sentence. They care about the skill, not just the theory. Now, before we get into the nitty gritty of the strategy, I have to put up a very important disclaimer. This whole priority plan is built on analyzing previous year patterns. It's a super smart guide to use if you're short on time. But, and this is a big but, if you do have the time, preparing the entire syllabus is absolutely the best way to go for the most comprehensive preparation. Okay, now that we've got that application first mindset locked in, let's build our strategy. We're kicking things off with the high priority topics. These topics are the absolute foundation of your score. I mean, get this part right, and you're already like 85% of the way to a fantastic score. Now, just look at this chart for a second. The crazy thing here is the sheer dominance of just a couple of topics, eSQL and database queries. I mean, that's nearly half the paper right there. Then you add computer networks, and you've covered a massive chunk. This data isn't just interesting, it's your treasure map. It tells you exactly where to spend your time for the biggest payoff. So, no surprise, our number one priority is SQL. You absolutely have to master the functions we are talking about. Your aggregate functions like count and average, your text functions like mid and substr, date functions like month and year, and of course, math functions like round. This is where the bulk of the questions are going to come from. So, you need to practice them until they're basically muscle memory. And just loves to test the tricky little details. For instance, knowing that count salary will completely ignore any null values that can totally change the result. They also love edge cases, like rounding to a negative place, which in this example means rounding to the nearest 100. Understanding these little quirks is what separates a right answer from a wrong one. Right up there with SQL, we've got computer networks and core database concepts for networks. Think of it like pattern recognition. Can you spot a valid IP address instantly? Do you know the exact difference between a router and a switch? And for DB concepts, it all comes back to the fundamental logic of relational algebra. These are quick, easy marks just waiting for you if you prepare them well. Okay, so once you've really solidified that massive 85% foundation, it's time to build on it. These medium and low priority topics, these are what will push your score from just good to great. This is how you secure a spot in that top percentile. So in our medium priority bucket, we're looking at topics that might not have the same massive weight as SQL, but they show up consistently enough to really make a difference. This includes things like Python's exception and file handling. They love asking about the logical flow. We also have core data structures like stacks and queues. Just focus on how they're used. Then there's the logic behind binary search, some basic stats and key security concepts. These are the topics that separate the good scores from the top ones. And a really common question they ask is to arrange Python's exception handling blocks in the right order. Just remember this simple flow. You try to run some code. If there's an error, the except block catches it. If everything goes smoothly and there's no error, the else block runs, and then no matter what happens, the finally block always executes at the end. It's a simple sequence that can totally bag you some easy marks. And finally, we get to the low priority topics. Now, let me be super clear. These are the absolute last things you should look at. We're talking about concepts that pop up very rarely, like being asked to visualize a bubble sort or knowing some obscure application of a DQ. A quick review is all you need here. Honestly, your valuable time is much, much better spent mastering those high and medium priority areas. Alright, now, for what might be the most important part of this whole thing, turning a strategy into actual execution. See, knowing what to study is only half the battle. Knowing how to study it over the next 8 weeks. This table here breaks down the entire syllabus into a really manageable 8 week schedule. It's designed to build your knowledge layer by layer. For example, you can see we start with SQL basics in the first couple of weeks. Then we build up to more complex things like DDL, DML operations later on. It's a logical progression. In those last 2 weeks, they're all about revision, practice, and polishing everything you've learned. So, how do you turn that weekly plan into a daily habit? Simple. Here's a powerful 90-minute routine. You dedicate a focused block of time. The biggest chunk, 40 minutes, goes straight to SQL practice, then 25 minutes for networks and 20 for Python and the other concepts. But this last part is absolutely critical. Spend the last 5 minutes on error analysis. Seriously, understanding why you got something wrong is the fastest way to improve. Now that you have the strategy and the plan, let's talk about how to implement it in the smartest, most efficient way possible. This is where a great tool can come in and act as a powerful force multiplier for all your efforts. Okay, I want to be 100% clear about something. Your own study materials, your insert books, your school notes, that is enough for you to succeed. Think of a tool like Ease to Learn not as a replacement for your hard work, but as a force multiplier. It takes the effort you're already putting in and just makes it smarter, faster, and way more effective. So, how does it actually do that? Well, first off, the gap fixer diagnoses your exact weaknesses. Maybe you're struggling with null handling in SQL. It'll pinpoint that specific gap. And once you find that gap, you have Tony, your 24 over 7 AI buddy, right there to instantly clear up that doubt. No more getting stuck or waiting for answers. Next, it helps build your exam. Taking muscle pace gives you these timed practice sessions to improve both your speed and your accuracy. Because remember, speed without accuracy is just reckless. But accuracy without speed isn't enough to finish. Then you can step into the exam room for these super realistic AI simulated mock tests to build the confidence and stamina you need for the actual day. And throughout this entire journey, you get data. The reports and analytics dashboard tracks your progress at every single step. So you're not just studying hard anymore, you're studying smart. This data lets you adapt your study plan on the fly, focusing your energy exactly where it's needed most. So that pretty much covers our strategic approach for computer science. But hey, we know that if you're preparing for other subjects, the same smart, prioritized approach can work wonders there too. So whether you're tackling the general test, physics, economics, or any of your other core subjects, we've put together a similar strategic guides to help you prepare smartly. You can find all of them right here on our channel. So there you have it. A clear strategy, a solid plan, and a powerful tool to help you execute it. Just remember, CUET Computer Science rewards smart, focused preparation, not just brute force memorization. Follow this plan, and you're not just preparing for an exam, you're building a clear path to a top percentile score. Now go make it happen.